Good morning, everyone. Hope you're good. Hope you are good. Maybe some of you traded this PPI print. I did not. Some of you in the room would have caught it. And some beautiful moves that we've had. Nice mean reversion trade off some daily levels that we're going to get into right now from very, very classic setups here. So as always, let's start on the daily chart. What did we have yesterday? Drive down just under the Bollinger Band. Didn't quite sweep the last level of liquidity on the daily that we're looking at. And now we've had a mean reversion back to the 5-day. All right, very, very simple, classic move back to the 5-day, back testing the 5-day. If we get through the 5-day, the next full mean reversion would be to the 20-day. Remember, we are continuing the pivot, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low. We're expecting a lower high to be put in. All right, lots of liquidity here, easy to sweep if it wants to get going. If it bases above that this week, then maybe we drive further up. So mean reversion completing this morning already. We can think about this in terms of fib structure from this pivot to the low, and we're stuck in that flag. All right, and the 30% is often a flag. So if we start to fail here, then maybe we retest the lows. I'm going to go over all these potential pathings in a moment. Down into the higher time frame, let's start on the hourly. So what do we have yesterday? It's important to understand what we had yesterday. We had accumulation down here at the lows. All right, nice W shape down here and closing the day higher. All right, we're looking for that squeeze end of day. Anyone in the Discord will know we were looking for that squeeze out end of day above here to come and run all the stops, which is what we got. So that squeeze out end of day made sure that every short at this low was having to get squeezed out in a covering rally. If any of these hold or held into this morning's position, they are waking up well and truly underwater right now. All right, so all the time we are holding this breakout, this old point of control, this blue box, this resistance, which became support. All right, RBS, resistance, resistance, dumped underneath, resistance, broke through, now acting as support. In fact, we haven't even come back and fully tested it yet. So we're watching that, and we're watching this old value area low to see if these are going to soak. If we're going to look for bullish plays today, we will need these levels to hold. So either we put in some bullish pattern here for a drive back up to supply, or a failed break lower, same kind of thing for a drive back up. So any of these levels will be where we're looking for bullish patterns to play out. If this is simply going to be a 1-2 leg and fail, we might get a trade back down inside here. You must be careful here. All right, you must be looking to cover TP1, TP2 in these blue boxes. Snap below this, and we can aim for that daily level that we had. That daily level was all the way down at 631 if it's really going to get heavy. But right now, bulls are definitely having a bit of a party with shorts, late shorts to the party yesterday stuck. Okay, once we get through these levels, I would say this here, let's get a trend line on this. This here, there's a fair amount of liquidity here and stops here to go and attack. So it's possible that we get a sort of mean reversion trade today. Again, we can go from the high to the low on a pivot. Maybe a trade into and around 50% if it can get going. Above that, into the 61 will be the top of these stops, all right? So we're watching both ways today, because that push off PPI was massive. So let's go now into this 5-minute just above. Make sure you can see it all. So you can see yesterday's low. Accumulation down here. Took all day to get to here, and eventually we popped London high. Once we popped that, that was the start of the squeeze. Straight up to Asia high, straight up, and consolidation overnight, reflagging for a drive back up to create a London high at the 5-day moving average. From this point, sellers came in, high time frame sellers, went and swept everyone's liquidity. So London has now taken out the Asia high and taken out the Asia low before finding bids in front of this area here, which is where I was going to be interested in potentially playing. It found bids at previous day close, and then we had a big drive higher, okay, off the PPI. So PDC right here held, good print, now potentially building out a flag to drive higher. If we start letting go of this, you can think about a drive through to take out this Newsweek low. But so far, looking very, very bullish on the session to hold, creating a bit of a range here now. All right, so you're looking for bullish patterns here all the time. It's holding. If this starts to let go, watch out below. This is a very thin structure. This was created in about 5 seconds, and it can come down and attack that Newswick low. So watching it both ways here, but so far structure to me is suggesting bullish momentum in the market for now, and you can see it on the lower time frame. Right, 2-minute chart here, absolutely huge. This was done in 1 minute. This huge candle was done in 1 minute. And now we're just retracing some of this candle. Notice PDC, this white line, held, retraced into the fib, just missing the golden pocket. 1 leg, 2 leg, shorts getting stuck here, some relief here. Range on the day, as I keep saying, is absolutely huge. All right, it's absolutely huge. So please be careful with your sizing and your stops. Right, there's definitely opportunities here for us to go and reattack that London high if it can hold bids. If it's going to fail to hold bids, then again, opportunities to come back down, test that PDC. If that PDC gets weak, then we're going to go level by level all the way down like we just talked about. So I would love to think about longs here all the time. I think shorts are trapped in the market for a drive up through here and into this level here. Let's get rid of that New York Open. If we're going to fail, right, and we're going to continue to roll over, I'm very, very cautious. Don't want to hold on to trades because this is very thin in here. This is a nice daily level at this point here, the PDC. All right, if we're going to fail PDC, then again, I'm going to go back to my hourly chart and think about where I might want to come into. Maybe 920, maybe 20,890, that old point of control, old value area high. If we're going to fail that, then maybe we're going to retest yesterday's low of day. All right, so lots of opportunity on the book today. Think we're through with news, but remember, we've got CPI coming tomorrow. So this violence that we had today will be probably nothing compared to what we get tomorrow. Having a look now across the board, the VIX has been on a dumperoo ski, all right? Since that pivot high that we put in at 22, we're now trading down at 1873 in a range, looking like a possible head and shoulders on a higher time frame. So all pops so far are failing. Maybe it needs one more drive higher for a rollover back towards 17s. We'll have to see. If you look at your ETFs, it's very, very easy to see the demand and supply right now on the ETFs in the New York session. So QQQ has a very clear pivot high. All right, I would say 510 up towards 511, just over 511. That is your supply, and your demand for that inverted head and shoulder would be 505-ish down towards 503.80s or so. All right, really easy to see on the ETFs now. The cash gap, we are gapping up, remember, overnight had that nice drive up and again pullback, and then PPI pushing us back higher to sweep all the stops. We've had divergence on the play as well. Notice how ES on that PPI print took out its Globex high. We did not do that on the Qs, right? You'll see on the Qs, we didn't take out this pivot high up here, 146. We did take that out on the ES, so a little bit of divergence there. Going to go through the Mag 7 quickly now. Yep, got enough time, just about. So Apple, let's have a look at Apple. Nice drive up overnight and giving back all its gains right now, coming back to its closing price. So pretty much flat. Microsoft, very, very similar. It's going to be a similar story across the board here. Amazon holding its gains a little better than the rest. A slight gap up. Big drive on PPI, again, stuck at the 5-day moving average, but holding its gains better. That had relative strength yesterday for sure. Google, again, gapping up, rolling over a little bit now, giving back some of its gains. Still has a slight gap to close to the downside. Meta, exactly the same. Drove up and actually puked out. So that relative weakness here in Meta. Nvidia holding its gains, right? Nice big gap up in Nvidia, and it's actually holding its gains, printing towards pre-market high right now. And Tesla, exactly the same as Nvidia. Big old gap up, holding its gains, right? So Tesla and Nvidia had been the weakest in those pullbacks the last few days. They've obviously found some bids in the market, maybe some shorts getting stuck near those lows right now. So holding their gains very, very well in this session. And before we get into the open, we've got about 2 minutes left. Let's get through the chat. Good morning, Glenn. Good morning, Noah, Exister, Chris, Miguel, Coop, Thumper, Jeff, Idris, Ramus, Ryan, and Marek. One thing I will say, all right, I took a small trade in Globex and I closed it very, very quickly when I realized my Tradeify accounts Two of them kept flipping short when I was closing. All right, so when I was long, two of them kept flipping short. So I don't know if that's just a problem I'm having with my copier. I know that was a problem Apex had a while ago. I've raised a ticket just to check. I am green on them, so it's not a big deal, but something to be aware of. All right, always very, very scary. It was almost like it wasn't filling my long orders, and when I was closing out, it was flipping to just two of the accounts short, which is really, really bizarre. But thought I'd mention it in case any of you are trading with Traderify right now. They're definitely my favorite prop firm, but it's possible that is just an issue I have with NinjaTrader and the copier right now, rather than anything else. But thought it would be worth raising. Good morning, everyone. So we're a minute away from open here. Definitely want to let this shake out. Okay, remember underneath this structure here, right, we are very thin all the way down to this Newswick. Right, I did have an anchored VWAP in here, but it's completely pointless now because we're just trading backwards and forwards from it. So it's not offering much right now. I'm going to just put a little line in here for Globex high. Let's add that in. So I'm prepared. Make sure you're all ready. Notice how the flow zones are pretty much flat. They're trying to absorb here on a 2 minute. Same with a 1 minute. They're trying to absorb. I'll leave this on a 2 minute to start just to clean it up a little bit as we come back down. All right. So far, there's your pivot high. There's your low. Lower high, lower low. Question is this going to be a squeeze for a return back up here? All right, that's what bulls will want. Bears will want a clear breakdown under this and to attack this low. Very, very simple. Here's the market open then. All right, it's very, very thin today. Very, very thin, very aggressive with volatility. Please be careful. You don't need to oversize in this market. I cannot say it enough. If you're oversizing, you're going to learn the hard way. You don't need size. Guys in my room right now trading 2 M&Q, making multiple amounts of money every day. You don't need size. So pulling back into VWAP here across the board. ES just missed that tag of VWAP on the open. Again, everything right now stuck at its 5 day. Everything stuck at the 5 day moving average. Mean reversion to 5 days so far is holding up. Morning, John. Good morning. All right, so here is the drive lower, testing previous day high now and previous day close in the higher time frame algo. Remember, if we start to break under that, it's very, very thin underneath from the PPI print. So maybe it can dunk lower if it breaks under. If it just scoops under or finds some bids here, then likely it traps short. So I'm completely hands off right now. Just going to let this shake out, do whatever it wants to do, and we can try and build some thesis once we have some structure, because that PPI has made it a little bit difficult with that big drive up. What I would say is on a daily chart, we have those lows just hanging there waiting to get slapped. But I would much rather see now a push up today, maybe some consolidation at close, and then we can see what CPI brings tomorrow for a weekly model. So here is PDC now. Flushing through PDC, maybe it's going to check that 21K. There is some small buys on the book, like 78 lot down at 21K, but nothing huge right now. Be very, very cautious if this starts to reprint all the way. If it starts to return and hold back inside that level above this pivot, then it's potentially a bear trap. ES making it a bit tricky here. It hasn't swept its low yet. Again, I'm hands off. We're only 2 minutes into the session. No reason to be forcing anything right now, but we do have lower highs and lower lows since that PPI print on the NQ, not on the ES, not yet. That bid still just sitting there at the 21,000. Let's see what he does, if he gets filled down there, and see if any more liquidity comes onto the book today. Definitely not in a rush right now as we try and reclaim previous day high with a drive back up to VWAP. Look how big these candles are. Okay, per 1 minute candle, you're looking at 45 points since the open per 1 minute candle. So if you're running a 20-point stop, you've got absolutely no chance right now in this market unless you're very, very accurate. So just be careful, size down, give it a little bit more room. ES still not swept its low yet. Looks like it wants to go and attack that low. When I say that low, I mean that pivot after PPI, the 5891. Does it break down under that? Does it then fill all the way back down, fill the whole PPI candle? It's the question we're asking right now. Are we going to start to drive back down into here, or is this going to be a squeeze and some form of bear trap like this? No reason to guess the bottom if it's going to do that. Just trading back and forth right now while it builds liquidity off the open. Probably at about 61 fib now off here, I would say. Yeah, just tagging that 61. Finding some buyers at that 61 fib, at that golden pocket. Looks like it's trying to do a squeeze now through VWAP. Let's have a look on the Mag 7 again, see where we're at. So most of the Mag 7 looking good, other than Meta, 1.7% down and selling. Tesla, 3.2% up. Here comes the squeeze. 3.2% up. Nvidia, 2% up. Google, 0.2% up. Amazon, 0.89% up, almost a whole percent up. Microsoft, 1/3% up. And Apple, 0.64% up. So like we talked about at the open or before the open, Meta with relative weakness in this market. Nvidia and Tesla holding their gains very, very well. There's the squeeze up after sweeping the liquidity underneath. ES failed to sweep that liquidity. Question now is, do bulls start to try and take control for a bigger move higher? All right, that is the question we're posing. Is this going to be enough shorts trapped in here for a bigger move higher today? Are they going to attack that liquidity at the highs? That 21,000 buyer never got filled. All right, he never got filled. Never came down to it. Missed him by about 10 points or so, 18 points maybe. So watching VWAP here, still just inside this opening range. If you're an opening range trader, we're still inside the 5-minute, coming up towards the high now to attack that opening range high, which is a small pivot, that 2190. Yes, at that same level, same kind of pivot. Question is here, can bulls start to take control of this session for drives higher? That's the question we are posing right now. Can bulls take control for drives higher? Range on these is very, very big. I cannot say that enough. Like if we dump back to VWAP now, it's going to be like a 40+ point candle very, very quickly. So just be aware of your sizing. They definitely want to take this higher. It's like, have they got enough shorts trapped? If they haven't, they might need to retrap and come back down before sending it. If that fails, if they fail to hold bids, then watch out below because we're thin. So just worth just letting this shake out for now. If we're going to squeeze, you know the pattern. We're trying to build a flag to move higher right now. It's very, very simple, but pullbacks can be aggressive and deep in this market. Your pivot is right here at 90. Yeah, the range is massive, Ryan. It's the one thing with the futures, the candles are always misleading in terms of point and size. Okay, there's the drive. So now looking to take out the next level, 2120, and then 2140, and then up here into the overnight high will be 21. Let's just call it 150. Let's delete that again, and then a drive into supply. So looking so good so far for bulls, like we talked about. They're looking for these drives higher this morning. I would like to see either a big push and a hold. Don't really want it to come back down into this pull down here. So here's your opening range break on the 5-minute, starting to extend versus the 90. And there's 15 points for you if you took that opening range break on a 5-minute. Very, very simple this morning. Remember, we've got that 5-day moving average above us. All right, we have a 5-day moving average above us at this pivot high up here. ES coming into it now as well. Market holding its gains pretty well, other than Meta. Meta getting slammed 1.2% down. Treasury's down today, which is good. That's maybe offering a little bit of relief on this market. Look at the VIX breaking low of day into 1850 now. So VIX breaking down here. If Beautiful little squeeze this morning. All right, doesn't look like a lot, but we're in a 100-point range already. And there are sellers above all the way up into 21,150. Small size so far this morning. All right, much smaller than the size we've seen the last few days. Much, much smaller size on the tape. So we'd like these to extend, flow zones to catch up and offer some pullbacks. So far, just straight squeeze mode. And look at the pattern on the line chart. All right, really simple. Trap underneath this pivot here, build liquidity, drive higher. That's all we're doing right now. So coming back towards high of day or Globex high. Now taking out that 20, so pay yourself a little bit. If you took that move, you've got to pay yourself a little bit as we move into Globex supply or PPI supply, where we found sellers up there towards that London high. If we get through there, the next level we're going to look at is 2180 and basically 200. So 180, sorry, and then 200. So there's the big pullback. Like we said, these pullbacks can be very, very large right now in this market. You must be careful with your sizing. So looking to take out this and then the highs, all right? Looking to take out that and then the highs. Oh, there we go. So flow zone pullbacks holding so far. New 5-minute candle here. Remember, we're near that intraday supply up here now. You'd want to see pullbacks in towards 90 holds. If 90 fails, it's going to come all the way back down to VWAP. Not ideal as we build out a range here. We're definitely in a range, PPI range. PPI pullback created this range, okay? The obvious move is to go higher, but it will only do that if enough shorts are trapped in this session. Buyer at 21,000 is now lifted, right? He's no longer there. And we've got small size just floating at about 1,100 and to the upside all the way up to 150. But this is small size. It's not like there's a 200 lot on the book like we've had the last few days. Market taking a breather. Tesla now 4.3% up, right? Holding really, really well. So back towards the flow zones, back towards the midpoint. Again, watch your sizing. Easier move is higher, but again, ES did take out the Globex high on the PPI drive. So we do have divergence across the markets here. Watching to see if this flag starts to play. Lack of buying continuation for this flag. That might just need to build a little bit more out. Here it's starting to go. So can we get through this level and a squeeze up? Remember, be proactive in the session, right? Very, very whippy so far. Would like to see a straight drive higher. Here we go. So can we now clear out that Globex high? Don't really want it to come too far back. Just looking for this to go on a straight squeeze higher. Beautiful. Moving my stop up with it here, being aggressive. Seeing how far we can take this. Can we get through those highs? Beautiful. So now looking for a push through 38. I'm being proactive, taking some partials in this move, okay? Taking partials off this dip, off this flag. We said we want this to hold, it held. Now we're looking for this, through this, and this into here. That would be the low-hanging fruit trade on the session. After that, I'll have to reassess. Don't overstay your welcome. Make sure you're paying yourself, right? This market can be really dookie and come and do this if it really wants to, all right? So be proactive. Yeah, very nice, Ryan. Jeff with the W there, good work. Yeah, just make sure you're paying yourself. Like I said, this market, the range is massive. Pullbacks, which would normally be 5-10 points, in this market can be 30-40 points. You've got to be proactive. Unfortunately, unable to trade my accounts together this morning. I'm going to wait to find out what is going on here, why I can't trade them together. Otherwise, that would have been very, very good across all the accounts. But one at a time. Yeah, I think that's wise, right? I think it's very wise. Just size down. So everything stuck at the 5-day, especially ES tagging its 5-day moving average again. So like we said, the first mean reversion for a Sigma 1 move off the lower Bollinger Band is to the 5-day. That's where we keep getting stuck across the indexes right now. $64 of you watching, do me a favor, hit that like button. Hit that like button, please. Here every single day, completely for free, Monday to Friday. From pre-market, we do top-down analysis, and I'll trade with you till lunch. Do me a favor, it's completely for free. Hit that like button. It helps me, it helps the algo. And if you want to support the stream, you can use my codes for the prop firms, which are all down below. My recommended prop firms are down below. It looks like it still wants to take out the high, still soaking off those M1 flow zones, right? Still soaking. Every time we're coming down here, this pivot here, remember, think about this. Drive, back test, reflag. Can this then drive up here? Building liquidity out here. Remember, do not buy too high in this market. All right. Higher time frame is saying lower. Like the daily charts and stuff, they are saying lower. What we're playing right now on the lower time frame is the pullback leg, to make that clear. All right, higher time frame. Let's go to a daily chart. Is saying lower. All right. Pivot, lower low, lower high, equal low, lower high, lower low. We're playing the pullback to set in a lower high to retest this. If we break this, then we think about upside squeeze over the rest of the week. But this here is the pullback leg to potentially set a lower high on the daily to go lower. Understand where you're trading on the higher time frame. So you have to be proactive. I really hope this market doesn't just stall out and sit in this tiny range for the rest of the day. That would be terrible. So far, we are basing above previous day close, previous day high. We're holding those flow zones. And we're holding the 61% fib of that CPI data candle. Hi, that I was just on the daily chart. When I flipped over, that was a daily chart. Yeah. So pull back into view up here, fail to break out of those highs, right? We always know, when do people get stuck? When we fail to break out. That's why you've got to pay yourself in this market. Protect your profits, pay yourself some money, especially when we're in a counter trend. Long today is counter trend. Even if we have a trend day on the higher time frame on the daily, it is counter trend. Back to VWAP, back to the multiple moving averages that are all in here right now. I didn't mean to do that. Right, everything pretty much flat and fairly tight together. Previous day close, higher time frame algo, previous day high, deep pullback, VWAP, momentum clouds. They're all fairly close here and fairly flat. When they're flat, you know what that means. We are going to lack a trend. So it needs to trap more intraday traders in order to have some form of trend on the session. ES just getting hammered at that 5-day over and over again. VIX finding some bids here off 1834, now driving back up towards 1865. All right, so it will aim now for 1880. Break of let's just call it 19, can open the door on the VIX for a move back towards previous day low. How it acts there is going to be key today. Previous day high coming up here then on the market. So range rotation, remember this is currently your IB. Range rotation, does it hold here to go back up? Or does it break down, fail breakdown? Or does it just get slammed all the way back to CPI low, or PPI low I should say. Again, this candle, 40 points already. 20 seconds left on this M1 candle and already 40 points. You have to be careful with your sizing. I know I keep saying it, but it's going to be the easiest way for traders to get stuck right now. A little bit choppy here. You can see it if I move to a 5 minutes. It's on a 5. You can see just creating this range here right now, failing to break out. So we had downtrend, PPI candle squeeze, pull back into here. Does it hold this and create liquidity? If it fails this, good chance it comes back to test if there is still demand in here. If there's not, it's going to go to the next pool of liquidity all the way down here. And if that fails, it's going to go all the way down here. All right, so we're just watching level, 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 level. Nothing to do here. No reason to be trading midpoint in this at VWAP. Not right now, not in my opinion. If it traps enough shorts, we can rejoin the long side, but there's just as much chance right now on this shape that we go and attack the lows. Very much like yesterday, it might just build out a range. How hard was yesterday to trade in the afternoon session? It just would not do that final squeeze. And then the moment we got into the imbalances in the last 10 minutes, it started to rip. And that final hour into 5 o'clock, they just continued to pump higher. And then they gapped up and drove it even higher. So lots of shorts getting trapped yesterday, but they just wouldn't let it go higher in that session. But felt fairly obvious that it wanted to go and clean out the highs yesterday, which is what allowed this gap up today. Shorts definitely trapped at those lows from yesterday right now in swing positions. To do all my drawings on Ninja right now. Bear with me. Make sure I've got my levels in. Remember, higher time frame, we are still in a sell. Lower time frame, we are trying to go into a buy to back test. If you go to an M15 chart or something like that, you will see this right now is trying to create an inverted head and shoulder with the head being yesterday's lows. If I just move this to an M15 quickly, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, this is what the market is trying to do for a back test. Head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Here is basically your neckline. Break of this will allow squeeze up to previous day high. That's what it's trying to do. Failure to break here and a breakdown under here can open the gate for a move back inside. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. Let's move this up now as well. So back to attacking the lows, failing to squeeze through, which is why we took profits. We start breaking down under here, we can come right into this thin structure. ES now sweeping that internal low that it created on the pullback. Again, I'm just hands off. Like I said, it's 50-50 trades here for me right now. Let it make its mind up. building out liquidity in this right shoulder. If the right shoulder fails, on this inverse right shoulder fails on the higher time frame, then we go and back test yesterday's lows. If this right shoulder builds out liquidity, traps more shorts versus, let's say, it's going to have to hold it's going to have to hold 875, ideally higher, 900, 920s, 950s, somewhere around there. If it holds those, then it has a chance to squeeze higher. All right, so ideally it wants to hold around here, these areas here. Fill this. If it keeps failing, then we might get trend continuation type play back towards previous day low. Remember, higher time frame is in a sell. Can't say it enough. Back testing towards previous day open now. Let me just check this anchored view up. Was that off? Get rid of that. So filling that whole PPI candle now. Market starting to go red. Google green to red. Microsoft green to red. Meta 2% down on the day. Tesla giving back a couple percent here. Nvidia only 0.4% up. Have to see if it's going to hold its gains. Apple only 0.3% up now. Amazon, again, we said it at the start of the session. Relative strength, 1% up, holding its gains very well. If we're going to go into a bullish market, Amazon is one of the stocks I'd be interested in buying right now, holding relative strength. Every day we're having red days or sell sessions, it's holding its gains really well. So breaking down there, filling this PPI candle. Do buyers come back in here, or are we just going to attack that PPI low now all the way down into 44? New 4-hour and 1-hour candle will be coming in 5 minutes. How we act at yesterday's point of control is key. 894, somewhere around that. How we act down there will be key, in my opinion, if we get down there. Previous day high there, tagged on ES, finding some bids there for now. You have some divergence in where we are finding bids. Previous day high on the ES, tagged and finding bids. Previous day open on the NQ, tagged and finding some bids. All right, I have this here on Ninja, about 92. So do they create a bear flag here to sell off and reattack this? This is what I'd be asking. But again, it's a little bit choppy up here. You have to be careful. If you're going to play this, just have nice stops. Right, make sure you're protecting gains if you're going to play that. Again, flow zones are not really in a trend. Everything is still flat while it just chops around. I'm not personally interested in this, but play your book the way that you want to. I'm just going to let this shake out. I just feel like this is in a major liquidity building phase right now. Watching VIX try and hold its gains now. 1873. That last drive up got sold into on the 10-minute flow zones. Is it going to start to trade high here and trade back towards previous day low? If it can do that, it's opening the room for the market to move lower. Bear flag potentially looks like it wants to play out here on the Qs. You have to watch ES into previous day high. Playing out here on this bear flag. Remember, you're on a 2-minute chart here, on a 1-minute chart, looking a little bit cleaner right now. If you're going to take this, you need to be looking for that move in towards 950. Pay yourself some partials in towards 950. Be proactive, especially watching ES at previous day high. All right, you need ES to fail previous day high here. It's tagging and tagging and tagging it. They absorb the bid here. I'd be very cautious. Move this to a 1-minute now. Definite key level on the ES here. Remember, your current ATR is about, I'd say on average, 30, 35 points per 1 minute candle since the open. All right, so you've got to be careful. PDH here, very, very key on the ES. It's starting to break down, beautiful. So now starting to join this a little bit. For that move in towards the lows, can we get the PPI lows? Moving my stop with it again because the range is large. No way I want to be giving back 40, 50 points. Still think there's a good chance now that we can attack the data lows. That would make sense to me to attack the data lows now, especially if ES stays heavy versus previous day high. Once we get to data lows, you need to be thinking about taking most your size off. You can always reattack it if it's really going to get weak. If it's going to go weak, we're going to go for the next leg down, which means we can start thinking about a move into the 900s. Remember, that old point of control is just below 900, so that would be a nice move if it will get there. ES back testing previous day high now. I've got one eye on that as a key level because it's a daily level. Don't really want ES to squeeze back through it and back test up to 90. That's a big move. Need it to stay heavy and attack the data lows here to hold on to any size. Beautiful. Need a break of structure here on the Qs, extend that initial balance range that we're creating. Remember, new hourly and 4-hour candle here as well, team. All right, so watch the hourly lows, how we act there. This bear flag paying out very, very nice. Can we get our final target? That's the question. Can we get our target down here? Remember, technically, we're still inside range. All right, we're still inside London-Asia range technically right now, inside Globex. So just be careful. Also inside of daily as well. So we're printing an inside bar right now. We failed above. We're printing inside yesterday's range. ES starting to reclaim previous day high here. Some buyers on the tape now. Still small size though today. Nothing notable. Around 950, 925, and 900 with a 75 lot. Again, I'm out most my size here. Like I said, want to be very careful if ES reclaims previous day high, which it has. Protecting its pre-market low on the SPY right now. Protecting its pre-market low on the QQQ right now. VIX getting stuck. All right, VIX getting stuck now. I'm very, very cautious here. Probably going to take the rest off break even. In fact, I am just going to lock that in. Can always reattack it. Buyers here, yeah, I don't know about so much buyers. Buyers seem to be down below under this, but potential of shorts just getting a bit stuck, at least on the tape looking at NQ. I would say ES holding that previous day high is key. I kept saying it on that move down. So it's doing the exact thing I said I would not want to see, a drive back into 90 and 92 to test those lower wicks that it printed this morning off the open. Back testing those. If those buyers into 92 on the ES become sellers, then yes, maybe we can reattack the lows. If they don't, then it's going to open the door for a squeeze, because what would a squeeze look like? It it would look like a failed breakout. So if it builds some liquidity in here, it can go back to here. Remember, we are still just inside of range. Very, very similar to yesterday. Here's your range, giant box. All right, it's big range, but it's still a range. 163 points on the New York session, a little bit more than that if you include pre-market. So back towards the M1 flow zones here. VWAP is hanging above, chopping about here. So there's the back test on NQ, now printing at 892. You will need sellers to come in here to VWAP for a continuation trade lower. Otherwise, it's setting the stage for a squeeze. Again, I don't mind reattacking this to the short side or joining long side once it decides what it wants. Two nice trades on the session so far. Long for the squeeze up, didn't get the full move because it didn't get the breakout, and then short for the continuation trade down. All right, long for the squeeze up, and then short once we set in here, continuation trade. Now, either we get a long for a squeeze up, or we get a failure in here and continuation lower. Again, we're inside range. Probably got to zoom out a little bit here for you to see it all. Flow zones now trying to give a directional move, but you need these buyers in here to become sellers, right? All these guys stops. They didn't stop out. You need them to now stop out and sell the market back down. If they don't, if they've just reaccumulated here, we go back to the upside. Easy market today? Definitely not. All right, it's definitely not an easy market today. When we're printing inside bars on the daily, it's a little bit hard. And when the range pre-market is so violent, it can get a little bit tricky. But watching both ways right now. ES coming back towards its VWAP right now and back towards those key areas we keep talking about. 892 up to VWAP on the ES, absolutely key. Same levels here, really. These previous day close, previous day high, and VWAP key. It will need to sell this for an ability to go lower, but this reaction is pretty good here. Where is my volume bars gone? There we go. This from a 4 hour for a sec. Yeah, so for everything trading back up to POC now. 50s or 45s are going to be key. Yeah, 45-ish on the hourly, on the 4 hour. Building out a range here for sure. ES back to VWAP. NQ almost there. QQQ almost there. SPY almost there. VIX flushing back down now towards low of day. So opening the gate for potential squeeze higher here. If it starts snapping the lows on the VIX to go and test previous day lows, or actually Friday's lows it will be. Opening up squeeze potential here. Like we said, this move here. And now I have to see how it acts here. Does it do the same thing and build up and go all the way back up? It's possible because we're in a range. We're just rotating. So shorts got stuck at the lows. At the moment, we've had buyers stuck at the highs in this session. Buyers, oh my God, come on. Buyers stuck up here and shorts stuck under here. So this is the meat, and everything outside of this has been failing. Just over 20 minutes left until we get our initial balance. Tagging VWAP here. Do we pull back off this VWAP now? M5 coming into those buyers that we talked about as well. So do we pull back off the VWAP and soak? Have they trapped enough? Do we go for a full rotation back towards the highs? We're now trading at point of control. All right, just very, very tricky. Midpoint of the session, VWAP, point of control. We've traded upside, failed. We've traded downside, failed. So this was a squeeze failure, and this is a squeeze back up. All right, just chop, chop, chop. Like I said, feels like they need to build a lot of liquidity in this session. You've got to be quick on the trigger with this range. It is not favoring trend trading right now. You have to be aggressive. Lock in some profits, move your stops in the money. ES trading back towards the supply. Market trying to go green. Again, Meta, the heavy one in this session. Everything else trying to go back green again. Google flat on the session now. Nvidia just over 0.5% up. Tesla almost 3% up. Amazon 1% up. Microsoft 0.2% up. Apple about 0.5% up. So they're trying to go green. They are trying to hold their gains right now. We're going to go upside. I would like to see a pullback, something in VWAP hold, create some liquidity here, trade through this, and go and attack all these stops. And then I know these shorts down there are the fuel for us to go higher. It's a shame that we haven't swept either side so far, to be honest. Had we swept this, this trade would be much easier. Had we swept this, this trade would have been much easier. Just balancing in between, leaving liquidity both sides, very, very dangerous. Happy to join this long if and only if it sets up a new right shoulder and I think enough shorts are trapped, and ideally the flow zones start to flip. Otherwise, this can very easily rotate all the way back down again. So far, we are inside of a range rotation environment. We're inside initial balance. The PPI candle created that range, right? The highs and the lows of the PPI, we are stuck between. This is your box. All right, failure to break out either side of this box. They are definitely trying to absorb this, the buyers, for that move higher. I'm not sure, Tyson. It feels a little bit squeezy to me. Originally, I was thinking potentially, but it feels a little squeezy to me right now. All right, taking this out, trapping down here, creating this liquidity. It might do the same here and go all the way up. I'm not convinced about this short one bit. It feels very counter trend right now. Feels like they're just going to put a ripper on. Here we go. There's the ripper. So looking to try and join this. Now it's starting to absorb. Be careful chasing too much here. It feels like it's going to go and take out higher day now. Glenn, you must be exhausted, buddy. I'd always say if you're really tired and you need an alarm to get up to trade, probably not necessarily worth it. But I know you're normally an early riser. I think the last week's taken it out of us, everyone in Los Angeles. So do pullbacks hold here? Do they set that squeeze all the way back to current New York high of day and the PPI high? And if we get through that, how high do we go? Right, straight through London. The next pivot would be 21,175 and then basically 200. And if we get through 200, we can think about 325. It's a long way away right now. Remember what I said when we go, if you zoom out, what did I say on the 15-minute chart? The market will try and build liquidity for the inverse right shoulder to drive higher, which is what we are now starting to see. Remember what we said. The right shoulder building liquidity, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. All the time it was holding this section here for a neckline break. Neckline break all the way into here, and this opens the gate for that move higher. That's what we're starting to see. It's building liquidity for this right shoulder move right now. Just need to see if dips will hold for this. Again, it has to build internal liquidity to use. It needs shorts trapped to get up to the external short levels, as in the pivots at 137 and above. It needs the shorts trap to get there. Pulling back towards VWAP now. Did they absorb the bid here? Yeah, I mean, it was a decent dump, but the problem is it's just normal size right now, right? It's like 40, 50 points, and that's normal 1 minute candle size, which is crazy. So waiting for this pullback in towards the flow zones. We're now at the New York Open. Do they hold this for continuation, or does that supply hold up? Pretty good here. Want to see it trade through 87 and 90. All that squeeze back through where those sellers came in. We just tagged that level and found sellers there again. All right, so wick to wick on the 1 minute. That's what I'm watching. Sellers came in at that 87s. They trade through that imbalance, then maybe we go higher. Otherwise, maybe a two-leg pullback here. Build out some more liquidity. This is why I was watching this level. This wick here, right? Just classic SNR. This wick here is what I was watching. So if maybe it needs a two-leg to do this. Looking good here. Looking beautiful here for that squeeze. Sorry to hear that, Coop. Yeah, very common in this market right now, getting run over on the stops. It's really, really easy to do. Slippage is massive. When the book thins out right now, it's crazy. I know it's absolutely crazy. It shouldn't be doing that, but it is. We've had this market for a while. It's not even unusual right now, which is the scary thing, right? We've had these huge ATRs. Back in the day, you'd get these like once a month, once every few months. This has been consistent now for over a month, I would say. Huge, huge ATR. I really want to see us take out these highs up here. I want it to just absorb the bids and take out the highs. That's what I'm looking for right now. Go and run higher, mow down all the shorts, because I know the shorts are now stuck. It's made it very, very clear that the shorts have got stuck with that failed breakout of the low. Despite being a month. Well, I mean, it might be the new normal, if you know what I mean, for a while, until we get a flattening of inflation and some stagflation and interest rates just going sideways. until those bonds start going sideways, well, ideally down and then sideways, we're going to have increased volatility. Obviously, you've got the uncertainty of the policies that Trump's going to bring in. So lots of factors right now. Look at VIX. New lower day on VIX is just getting absolutely slammed now. Opening thesis for this move higher. You would like to see the market take out the highs, though. If VIX is going to do a dump like this, you don't want big divergence in this. You need to see the market go and rip the highs. But sellers so far holding that pivot high, holding the initial balance. So have to be careful. We've still got, just under 12 minutes left for the initial balance. Are we going to be in a rotational market today? It's possible, very much like yesterday, but I'd really like to see us go and run these highs. We've come high enough now. We should just go and take them. Has anyone traded Apex today? I haven't traded them yet today. Have they fixed their trade of issues? Does anyone know? I'm going to be careful building this liquidity trend up here. So far, this pivot now holding. All right, think about structure. That's what I'd want to see. Maybe a little trap underneath first would be ideal. Trading it now. Yeah, they fixed it all. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. And the rotation continues. So they need to hold this now, right, for this look to go higher. A failure to hold these levels on these pullbacks will open the gate for a full flood all the way back down to the lows again, as we would go from IBH to VWAP, VWAP to IBL. So they need to soak these levels. Failure to do that will be problematic. VIX finding a bid there as well. So the fact that it didn't break out with the VIX flushing all the way down to 1824 is not a good look for the market. You would like to see some continuation strength when the VIX is weak like that. Pretty thin here. Watching the level 2, there's no notable orders that it's going to go and hunt for, other than there's 100 lot underneath 950. That's pretty far down, isn't it? But other than that, book's pretty thin. 100 lot 950 and 75 lot at 900, and no one else really showing up right now. Good to hear that Apex fixed that. My draw on liquidity is still higher, right? Still towards the IB high. We've been there so many times. But maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe they're just going to do another IB day. The fact that we didn't take the lows and didn't take the highs is very, very ugly. We've talked about that before. Leaving liquidity both sides is ugly. Back underneath this New York opening print now, tagging into VWAP. ES doing the same, tagging into VWAP. SPY at its VWAP as well, and QQQ. So both the ETFs and the futures are all at their VWAPs right now. VWAPs are trading sideways. Flow zones are pretty much sideways. Those lower time frame algos are sideways as well. I'd really just like to see this drive higher. Main reason is if we can clear out one side of liquidity, at least once we've gone higher, I know that a short thesis will start to step in, whether that's today or tomorrow. But all the time we're just dangling around doing nothing, not taking either side, it becomes a bit harder to be involved. Under VWAP now, all the way down. Look at the size of these candles, all the way down to previous day high. It's just wild out there right now. And previous day close. Momentum coming in there, volume stepping in on the sell. So failure to break out yet again, a problem for the market. Back testing this area where buyers last came in. How does it act here at VWAP? Do they sell through or sell this back test at VWAP, or do they let it back through? Or is this just a quick scoop underneath to accumulate? Again, hard to have strong reads in this market because we're not super directional on the session. All right, keep saying for those joining late, we are in a range. All right, there's your pin high, pin low. We didn't sweep this and we didn't sweep this, so it's a little bit ugly out there. Flow zones, look, like this. This is a range rotation day until it proves otherwise. Very much like yesterday morning. Very similar to yesterday morning. Is this the trap, the two leg to go higher, or do they just sell versus VWAP now? Again, I would prefer it to go higher, but it's now at equal chances of going both ways. We're trading midpoint of the session. It can go back to the lows now, just as easy as it can go back to the highs. It's ugly, ugly, ugly. Market makers watching the stream. Yeah, I mean, they're just, like we said, today feels like it needs to build a lot of liquidity. All right, the fact that we've tagged that 5 day and selling is unfortunate that it did that move overnight and at PPI. The range on PPI is really big and we haven't swept either side, which makes it less obvious of what it wants to attack. Next, we're stuck inside of initial balance. We're trading and back testing now previous day highs, previous day closes. If we hold that, we have the ability to go back upside. If we fail that, then we have all that ability back to the lower Bollinger Band, back to previous day open, back to previous day low, which is much, much lower. So it's definitely a tricky day. Yesterday was the same. We had some nice trades inside the initial balance, but if you are not in a see money, take money type mentality, and if you're not sizing down and using wide stops, then this market is it will take money from you very, very quickly. Unfortunately, it's just the market we're in. It's the environment we're in. Back to VWAP. So is this going to be the trap underneath these lows, the two leg to do this? That'd be the question I would pose right now. That slammed there very quickly into 60, an odd area to slam, didn't even let it all the way up and didn't slam VWAP. SPY trading through VWAP. QQQ, okay, QQQ stuck at VWAP, so that's ETF sellers there. Are they going to let this through? Do they let this through for the squeezies? ES looking good for upside here. QQQ struggling to join in. VIX getting slammed. It looks good for upside, but it cannot do it. So relative weakness in the Qs with VIX trading back towards low of day. ES had a little stab higher there. And Qs doing absolute bugger all. Choppy day. For sure, choppy day. Buyers coming on the tape lower now. So magnet starting to appear lower now. That would worry me if I was looking for longs here for a squeeze. The fact that I'm seeing buyers here now at 21K stepping on the tape, 962 stepping on the tape. There was one at 950. It looks like he's the buyer now at 962. So he's just moved his price up a little bit. So possible bear flag, possible nothing, flow zone sideways, VWAP sideways, everything pretty much sideways right now. But maybe, like I said, it has as much chance now going to lows day. Look, the fact that it didn't hold this and take this, trades back to the middle, just as much chance as it comes down here as it goes back upside now. Both sides, very, very much potential trades right now. It's ugly out there. Nothing wrong with being hands off and waiting right now. Yeah, it's pretty ugly out there. But again, we're just inside initial balance. Initial balance will be set in 90 seconds or so. But remember, inside initial balance, inside PPI after not taking it. It's precarious, but this is the market. You have to trade what's in front of you. Remember, you don't need to trade every day. If it's not doing what you want, just don't take the trades. Not much of a setup here right now if we trade sideways. It's large range as well. So bear flag breaking down back towards where we found buyers earlier. Do they now just let this whole thing go and air out the bag and come and attack this? Or do they reabsorb yet again? Not too far away from that 21,000 mark. Remember, there's a buyer at 21K, 140 lot, and then underneath, way down, underneath 75 now. So like I said, when they came on the book, they acted like magnets. The market went and searched for them. Not what you want to see if you're looking for upside. You don't want to see bids way lower. You want to see liquidity above for it to go and drive towards. The only liquidity above now is 21,075. There's a 200 lot. So these are the biggest sizes stepping on the tape now for the session. Ten-year and 30-year bonds starting to go green and aggressively green as well. Tesla holding up. Nvidia, red. Meta getting absolutely slapped. Google, red. Amazon, relative strength, almost 1% up. Microsoft, red. Apple, 0.5% up. All right, so now mixed bag across the Mag 7. Getting stuck here now under previous day high, under previous day close. Not a good look for the Qs, I would say. If you're in this short, congratulations. Make sure you're paying yourself some money as you come back towards these levels of support. But really now, you kind of expect it just to trade all the way lower if it's going to do it. If it fails to have strong selling, it's just going to keep whipping around. And we're going to create a tighter and tighter range as this starts to become tighter and this starts to become tighter. All right, and we do this. Not what you want to see. Not fun when the market does that. Still got that buyer at 21,000. He's still not been filled yet. And still have that seller at 21,075. Looking good for lower prices here, in my opinion, now. Looking pretty strong here to the downside. Now they're starting to stack above, looking to get filled on a pop. So in front of 50, they're looking to get filled now. And then all the way up to 80s. So they're looking for a relief bounce for them to get filled to sell back down potentially. These are the same players that have been in the market the last few days, just playing the range. Initial balance now set as well, remember. So 21,000 buyer got filled. He still has some more size just underneath. And there's another player down at 60s. Just straight down here. Every pot being sold into now. No, Crawford, I'm not in a trade. I'm not in a trade. I took some earlier. Small money up today. I'm not in this short. I don't like it when it's 50-50 midpoint of the range, but it looks good now. And like, it looks good to trade downside now, but I'm just not going to chase. No way. Need the market to take one side of the liquidity out, really, for me to feel confident about doing anything right now. It definitely looks like it wants to sell through low of day and IB. How high can it pop here? That's the question. How high can it pop? Is it going to allow continuation traders to get in on a drive higher to then sell and then go and attack the low of day? Or is it just not going to do the low of day at all and going to leave the high of day and the low of day? We are in a very tight range here. Well, it's not tight, but we are in a range here, which is getting tighter, let's say, as we keep producing lower lows. Here we go. So is it now going to attack? I am now looking for this short side for that breakdown underneath. Beautiful. Need a break of structure here. Want a big sell candle. Don't trade back inside. Come on. Stopping the money. Looking for this break. Beautiful. Here we go. So once it's clean and obvious, lovely. Trading back down. Make sure you're protecting into IBL and then hold your runners. Finally getting some here. Lovely. Covering some into that move. So this was a nice move here. Super, super simple. I'll show you execution. Super simple. All right. Bear flag, drive up, cover into the lows. Super simple. Don't need to overcomplicate it. The reason I'm protecting is just because it's the IBL. And my entry, although was good, I know that they might want to squeeze high here. Watching the book. When I say squeeze high, they might just want to look for sellers to come back in before washing the PPI lows. There you go. There's the break. Make sure you're paying yourself some money, please. Make sure you're paying yourself some money as your low of day break. Next level will be the PPI level. And then under that, a back test into 930s and then 890s. Remember, still IB rules will apply. Auctions, failed auction, all these rules will apply, so be smart. Should really go and take that PPI low now. It really should. Here we go. There we go. Nice, Tyson. Looking good here. All right, so we're watching for a move through 40 now. And then we know value area high from yesterday starts at sort of 913 and point of control yesterday, 892. So we don't want to be too short into these levels because we know those are levels of demand that we're going to back test. We just had to let that play out for a moment. There's the continuation. They are starting to stack the book higher now. They really want this market to move upside for them to get filled on the shorts, which they've missed right now. So there's 100 lot, or there's a 200 lot at 21,000. Then there's a 100 lot around 15, another 100 lot at 37, a 100 lot at 50, a 100 lot just above 50, a 100 lot at 65, and at 75, and at 87. So they're looking for a drive higher for them to sell into now. So we've extended, or we've swept the IBL, came into that daily level, this white line here. Remember, we're watching the hourly. We're looking to see if these guys get filled and where they get filled now. So into 21K, remember I said this, all those sellers stacked above. Have to be careful of a failed auction. That still applies here. Failed auction theory will still apply here. We are still in initial balance type of scenario. So if they reclaim and really want to squeeze up to view up, they can do that move. Right, it's just an IB day. Yeah, I'm very similar to you, Tyson. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 accounts nicely in the green here. There's sellers all the way up to 2190s right now. All right, they're just looking to fill 100 lots all the way up to 2190s, which is a long, long way away. Again, kind of odd that we're not going to sweep either side. Like, I still have to believe that there should be a strong sweep of one side. BU, hello. Welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Here Monday to Friday. So again, initial balance rules apply. Here's your previous day open. There's the IB trade back inside. Now, if they hold this, they will try and attempt to squeeze all the way up here. All right, so you have to be careful. We're in a range. I cannot say this enough. All we're doing is trading in a range until it proves otherwise outside of this range. The fact that we didn't take this says quite a lot here so far. So lots of sellers on the tape. 37, 50, 65, 75, 87. They're looking to get filled higher right now. Here's your pullback to your flow zones. Here is ES to VWAP. Wild, wild action. So aggressive, isn't it, once it gets going? All right, all the way then back up to test these daily levels. Previous day close, previous day high, and VWAP and flow zones all dangling up here. Like we said, they added liquidity higher to sell into. They really wanted to sell higher. Sat in my hands right now. I'd like to hit another short, but so far failed rotation, failed auction, sorry, I should say, of the lows, making it a little bit tricky. I still think we've got liquidity down there we should come and take, but all those sellers up high are going to make it really, really hard if they are needing to get filled up there. But I would like us to come and snap the current low. Here we go. This is looking better. Beautiful. Come on, baby. Down you come. Don't want them to hold imbalances here. Want them to sell this off. Moving my stop aggressively now. I want to see this flush back down. Nice. Looking for a bear flag versus flow zones to come and take that liquidity at the lows, being aggressive, covering some into the IB in case this is the start of a W pattern on a lower time frame, but have to be aggressive here. Don't want a reclaim of 21,000 now. I know there's sellers above. I'm runners only now, but I don't want a reclaim of 21,000. Any reclaim of that, I'm hands off because I'm going to expect then to initiate that squeeze up to fill the sellers above. So it's stopping out runners there. Again, versus this. If they reprice this, then they're going to squeeze up. If they fail versus this, then here. But again, location not ideal now in front of IBL to sell. But they're just making it hard. The fact that they've left liquidity here makes me think we should go and take it. But the fact that they are just stacking up sell orders at 37s and above makes it very, very tricky because leave yourself open for a 40 to 80 point squeeze is not nice. Range is massive. Okay, the range is absolutely massive right now. I'm going to have another attempt at this here. Small size. John, that's awesome work. Lovely work, bud. Wish I was up that much today. That's great work. Just love this to come and attack the low here. Back towards the IB here. So if you took this with me, make sure you're paying yourself some money, right? We are still in an initial balance. So unless we're going to break outside and take the liquidity, we have to respect this. Buyers might still continue to step in here. Those buyers will be range rotation buyers. Beautiful. Can we get a break of the lows here? Can we get a liquidity sweep of those lows? That's what we'd love to see here. Beautiful. Here we go. Finally, it took all day. So now it's still looking for 45, 945 is where the liquidity is. Snap of that. Maybe we get a liquidation break. Covering most into this move now. Looking for that liquidation break of 945. Snap through of 945. We're going to look for the H1 levels then. We're going to look for a trade into 900 and then the old point of control 890. See if we can hold our runners for that move. This is looking way better now. Great work, Ryan. Ryan with the W. So he took that short into the IBL. Off the flow zones, back to IBL. ES back to previous day high. Don't want it to soak here. It's been a key level all day. Previous day high and IBL. Want it to just slam through. There we go. There's the liquidation break. So make sure you're covering some there. That's your Newswick low taken. Nice, Glenn. Make sure you're paying yourself. The easy trade has now gone. All right. The liquidity has been taken. That's the key trade that we've just had. Anything else, any continuation lower is an absolute bonus. Oh, really? Was another? Yeah, I have no idea. Obviously, I'm just sat here trading, but I don't. He's got his new office now, Pat, hasn't he? I think. So it's probably. I guess he's having traders on there and stuff. He'll probably be like a better version of Top Step, as in it will look better and be cleaner. All right, so liquidity sweep of those lows. So do we get trend continuation for a move, higher time frame move back to old point of control, back to old value area high, or are we going to soak here? If you want to see what I'm talking about, right here on the hourly. Right, are we going to back test these levels? If we fail these levels, we're going to come all the way down. So you should be runners in here, but notice how this is blue. Old resistance becomes demand. So we don't want to be short in here. We want to be covering some of our position into here. If we break beneath this, okay, and we retest and we get heavy, then we can think about a short rotation. If we break beneath and reclaim, we're going to think about a long squeeze back up to this hourly high and point of control. Watch this IBL, or I would say all this level here. It's rather large, but you have to watch how we build here. If we start to reclaim here, I'd be very, very cautious about a failed auction after taking the liquidity. Could be an easy move up. So low-hanging fruit has gone. Great work, Ryan. Great work. Right, ES trading back inside, swept outside its IBL, trading back inside. All right, so possible range rotation about to start setting up. Too early to say right now, but if it does not continue to reject the IBL to move higher after stealing liquidity, it can trade back upside towards the VWAP. Yeah, I mean, wisdom lover. The thing is, entertainment is what gets people on your streams and stuff, isn't it? So these guys are, same as the people on Twitter, just talking crap all day, every day, who aren't traders. They need to sell Apex or whatever it is they're doing. So they're just farming numbers. Pat's the same, although he makes money from trading, but he's very good at marketing. And he doesn't claim to be a trader either. He says he's entertainment. Yeah, I lack the entertainment value. That's that's for sure. I'm here to educate, not to entertain. All right, so trade back into flow zones again. Do they break down here? But remember, low-hanging fruit has gone. So if they start to squeeze, flow zones will start to support this, and we'll get that trade from IBL, failed auction, 1, 2, back to VWAP. Trend continuation will be to those H1 levels all the way down here. That would be a really nice trade if it will do it today. Exactly, Crawford. Yeah, that's how I feel. But not everyone's the same. Some people just, especially the younger ones, I think they just want to be entertained. A nice flow zone rejection there. Underneath IBL, coming back to those clear liquidity levels. There is a buyer on the book now down at 940, 950 and 940. So, and that's pretty good size down there. That'll be into those old H1 levels. Remember my high time frame where I have demand marked out. All right. RBS, resistance. Does it become support? All right. We don't know yet, but we would expect this to attempt to become support. W, pullback into here. Do buyers turn up here for this move higher? Liquidity build. If they fail and get stuck, then we trade all the way back down. I'm not looking for a short in this level. Momentum's good. Location now, not good. Location was good when we were looking for these shorts. I should have taken this in hindsight. But these were nice continuations, and so is this pop and fail. So tagging the PPI level yet again. That PPI wick right here. Nice, Ryan. Good work. Have a good rest of your day. Hope the fight prep is going well. Ryan, you should talk to Tyson above you. Tyson, am I right in thinking you're black belt in jiu-jitsu, right, as well? Ryan's an MMA fighter. You're both in the room. You should have a chat to each other privately in Discord. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Yeah. Ryan has his second pro fight coming up. Dean Winchester grabbed a few points. Green for the day. Thank you. Sitting on hands for now. Lovely work, Green. Lovely work there, Dean. Green's good. Lots of people will not be green in this market. Trust me. I am small green for me. I cannot trade these linked at the moment, which is unfortunate. They keep flipping, but small green on the day. All right, small green on the day. Don't be guessing dips here today, team, okay? It will become obvious if it becomes a buy. Remember, your higher time frame narrative is lower in general. Your daily wants to trade lower. We are coming into areas of potential demand on that hourly, that blue box, but we don't guess dips because it might want to go into a full sell. SPY here is trading into previous day high. QQQ is under previous day high. We might go for a gap closure here on the Qs. All right, so it's not quite there. It's actually a bit lower, I think, on QQQ, or where's the SPY? SPY with a way to go for the gap closure. So that's what it might want to do. You might get ES and SPY going to close that gap. Into 865, basically. We're going to be an efficient market. That's what it's going to look to do. It's going to look to close that gap. BU, yeah, every morning, well, Monday to Friday, from before market open, we do top-down analysis. We say what we're looking. What the hell? Is everyone there? I just got a disconnected come up. Can you guys all hear me? Just a blip. Okay, cool. It's a bit of a worry. Yeah, here, Monday to Friday from before market open. So dripping lower here. All right, dripping lower here. Probably going to check that old point of control just underneath 900. So I'd be watching to see if it puts in bullish structure anywhere around here. Does it do something like this? And then we can think about joining, especially if it gets back above IB for a squeeze. Otherwise, this is just dripping lower. So if you're still holding runners, you still look good. Coulda, woulda, shoulda for me, for sure. But we hit that target, that low-hanging fruit target of the PPI low. Gap fill looks highly probable now on the ES. Right, gap fill I think is to around 65 if I'm not mistaken. Or is it just done it now? Is it to 70s? Check the SPY gap fill. I think we've actually just closed the gap on the ETFs. So we have an efficient market now. So trading into potential demand areas, not confirmed because it's RBS. It's resistance becomes support. We have to see if buyers step in here, but we're now in a trend day, aren't we? Because we're underneath IB, so we're extending down. So all the buyers now got stuck on the day. Can keep dripping lower here. No bullish structure here at all. There is absolutely no bullish structure here for you to be thinking about buying dips right now. I want to make that clear. Nothing to say this doesn't come all the way down to previous day lows if it really wants to. At least we got a bit of it. I'm kicking myself a little bit here that I didn't re-add in some of these moves. But once we'd taken low-hanging fruit, it became harder to add. But this is very, very nice. Look at the VIX. VIX trading upside now, starting to break out of its sort of W formation on a 10-minute, trading into 19s. Break through 19s, opens the door to previous day low, 1950, 1920. Break through that, 1936. Break through that all the way to 1950s, and then squeeze potential into the 20s. Any of those moves, market gets very, very heavy. I don't think we've done badly today. Stream, I think we've caught what we can. Not an easy market. Not an easy market. I do not like the fact that it didn't sweep those highs. It would have made the short thesis so much easier if we just pumped through the CPI data high first before rolling over. But hey, I sort of looking back, had this just popped through and then failed, I think taking this, I would have been far more likely to take it. I don't like this trade here when it's 50-50 whether it does that. But once we got down here, it became obvious. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. Really wanted those highs. If they swept those highs first, I would have sold into that and then taken the short back down with a little bit more confidence, probably is the best way of putting it. Yeah, Creep, you're probably right, mate. You are probably right. VIX now knocking on the door of PDL and PDC. All right, VIX is knocking on that door. If it breaks through these levels, watch out below market. We did just backtest that point of control we talked about, 890. All right, so that's where we're at right now on the hourly chart. This right here, 890, this kind of level. If we think about it from swing points, from yesterday's low to the current high, all right, trading into 61 fib would be 864. So again, do they put in some bullish structure down here? You are in trend day lower currently in terms of initial balance, but it's possible buyers start to show up here. It's a good area around here. Old point of control, 61 fib, 50 fib, all these things. I would not want to be short in the hole down here. Okay, you should be taking partials down here. Dean, yeah, you can trade both together. All right, so the difference between NQ and ES is that NQ is weighted a little bit heavier towards tech. ES includes banking sector more, but you can watch them together as a pair. They trade very, very similar. ES has just filled its gap. If you look at yesterday's close, filled the gap, came to that afternoon pullback breakout area in towards 66. It's finding some bids there. So I'd imagine if you put it on an hourly chart with a SVP, you'll probably find its point of control from yesterday, very similar to the NQ. Like I said, I would not want to be short down here. Way extended into demand areas. You don't want to be short. Momentum short side is good. Location short side down here is horrific, right? You are in good buying zones down here, but you don't have the momentum to buy. I'm not in the habits of guessing tops and bottoms, as you well know. So if I'm going to buy this, it's going to have to put in some very bullish structure for me, and ideally find the support of the flow zones, and ideally trade back above the initial balance for a squeeze. Very simply, I'd want to see something like this, and I'd be thinking about buying later in the game around here if I'm going to buy. And once I know shorts are well and truly cooked underneath. Until then, not really interested. Like I said, low-hanging fruit, we had it. I should be in runners here, right? I should be in runners here. Sellers still there. 950, 960, 975, 980s, and another one at around 990. All right, they're all stacking the book up there looking to get filled. If your habit is to try and guess bottoms and pick reversals, more times than not, you're going to lose, right? So just, especially with these markets, if you're trading any of the indexes or any of the ETFs, just look to join the trend once it's clear and obvious. Don't try and pick tops and bottoms, right? We're in a sell signal right now, multi-time frame sell signal in the market. Low time frame, high time frame, both in sells. Do I think this can go higher back to IB? Yeah, I do. Do I want to play that long? No, because what's the setup there? Some will say, oh, there's an imbalance here, we trade through it. It's very possible, but for me, I'm going to ignore all of that. I'm going to play my initial balance rules and my flow zones. They keep me safe. Can I explain the flow zones? Yep, they're basically fib-based EMAs. So this main one here, the momentum cloud, is showing you momentum in the market. All right. These are not signals. These are telling you when it moves into a potential buying situation, a potential selling situation. This is on a 1 minute. You will get less signals the higher up you go. Okay, so clean up the charts and it will tell you the momentum of that time frame you're looking at. The deep pullback is exactly that. It's a fib-based deep pullback. So if this had pullback, if the market had just done a deeper pullback, then it would likely come to around here, and then it'd have to see if it got sellers. Then you have the lower time frame and higher time frame algos here. When you get flow zones beneath these, when you get flow zones cross beneath the lower time frame, high time frame algo, this is more of a pro trend. Anything long now, if you flip these flow zones and they start to support price action back up to here, this will be counter trend because we're beneath lower time frame and higher time frame algos. That's the best way I can describe it. Just think of them as stabilizers on the bike. When they're red, we should be thinking about selling. Right? When they're blue, we're looking to buy dips potentially off it. Selling, buying dips. Selling, buying dips. All right, just very, very simple. All right. Market structure comes first, supply and demand comes first, but these will show you, or at least will try and prevent you from guessing bottoms and getting the wrong side of the trade. Again, if you're trying to buy dips here right now, when these are pointing downwards and red, and these are in a sell, and you're asking to get hurt. Those 100 lot sellers, 500 lots and plus are still above 950 all the way up to 990. Right, gonna have to excuse me for just a moment, team, and I'll be back. Flow zone indicator isn't on Ninja. If you're a member of my community, if you do the course down below, you will have access to it. But yeah, it's just for the community. It's not available on TradingView either unless you're part of the community. So it's a one-time fee. I'll let everyone in chat tell you about it. I'll be right back. Okay, team. 50 of you have liked the stream. Thank you very much. Can't wait to the day where that's 500. Watching these other streamers talk absolute nonsense, getting their traders in trouble all the time, but everyone still watches them. So starting to build out liquidity here at that key level. Remember, on the higher time frame, the location right now is potential demand. Remember, the location here is potential demand. We don't know if they're going to hold this level up. If they put in a bullish pattern here, maybe we can trade back upside towards 2150 or so. Still no shift to think about that long, right? Maybe they squeeze it straight up to IB, but there is nothing here in terms of the flow zones or anything like that to say that we're going higher. Remember, this is what I'm looking at the moment. If you did a 1 MA, this is what it would look like. So building out liquidity here. Maybe it can do this. Does it reject that to come lower, or does it reclaim it to go higher? If you're struggling right now to see it, just move to a line chart, all right? Go to a line chart. Is your 5-minute line chart. Where is supply? It's going to be right here. And this is where buyers came in. Those buyers became sellers. That's where we sold from. So can we backtest that level around 66? Where would that be? Funnily enough, it's the initial balance. All right, so super simple. We're in a sell really until we reclaim that. Catch you later, Aid. Great work, man. You're on a heater right now. Lovely work. Yeah, most of my students, you should have smashed this already, hopefully. Touch wood. You should have known what you were looking for. It was a little tricky up here, wasn't it? This was tricky. I think, where did we get long? I think we got long one of these maybe, or maybe it was earlier. Maybe it was this. Can't remember. But I would have liked to have seen this sweep this. I think I was in this long here, partial, and then break even. And then I didn't take this sell because that felt like a 50-50. If we'd taken this high and then got stuck here, I would have taken this sell back down. So then I had to wait for it to become obvious and build this liquidity out. So nothing wrong with joining late once it becomes obvious the direction that the move wants to go in. Way, way easier. I think knowing when not to pull the trigger, probably more important than knowing when to pull the trigger, to be honest. Nice, Aaron. Good work. And Aaron, is that off the automated system or is that off like discretion and you executing? Is that off the automated flow zones? So again, no shift here. Semi. Okay, nice. Great work. So liquidity on the book here, 115 lots sitting around 887 and more just underneath. Another 134 lot just underneath that, stacking up in towards 75s. Then it gets a little bit thin down towards 50 and 25. Again, no reason to long here. Yeah, sick. Lovely work. Lovely work, my friend. Nice, Crawford. Great work. Yeah, I've never traded with that other firm. Fidias, is it? I don't know how you say it. But I think it's Glenn in the room, in our room. He trades with them. He's got quite a few accounts passed with them now. No, not everyone is using Bookmap. I don't think I even really teach it in the course. I teach more focused on structure, but a few people have asked for a video on it, so maybe I'll do it. It's really, it's so easy. You just need to look at the liquidity levels. Don't worry about anything else. Looks like a failed bear flag. I mean, potentially, but again, your pivot's so high, and it can just build out all the way up to here, you know, and then do it. It can also just reclaim, like we said. But I'd be cautious about calling it a failed bear flag, because even if you consider this high or this high or this high your swing points, it's not broken out of that swing point yet. Really, I'd say this is the swing point. So that's the size of the leg. So I'd be thinking about, does it fail here? Does it fail here? Or is it just a 30 fail? But the key thing is the low-hanging fruit was here. This is all a bonus into point of control. Anything lower than this, I'm not interested in a short down here. That also doesn't mean I'm going to long it, but I'm not interested in a short in an area of demand. There is no way I am shorting an area of demand when, what have we done off that high today? The high we put in was up at 21,140s and we traded a low of 870s. Huge move. Why am I trying to get short the hole down here when prime location for shorts was up here? No interest, but it doesn't mean it's a long. It's a long when it proves itself. Does it mean it can squeeze up here? Yeah, it does. But what's your trigger for doing that? Maybe if it reclaims the flow zones here, that's a better trigger for me. It's starting to reclaim them now. I'd like to see them flip, though, personally, and trade back upside. How we act at that CPI low is going to be key in towards like 40s or something. This over here, this low here, where we pretty much just tried to trade into and rejected. Right, so that'd be break and retest kind of model. So in my opinion, for me, how I trade, too early to be looking for longs right now. Because even if you call this a bear flag failure, what's to say it doesn't do this, right? So I need to see flow zones, support action. All the time we're outside of the initial balance, we have potential to go lower. Just over half an hour left with you. VIX back at its IBH, right? Traded all the way up to previous day low that we talked about. Got stuck there, traded back down to IBH. So key here is, does the VIX hold and squeeze upside or not? Treasuries can't really make their mind up. And the Mag 7 completely mixed now. All right. Apple just about green. And I mean just about green. Microsoft 0.28% down. Amazon 0.18% up. So still just about holding on, but giving back some of its gains. Google just gone red. Meta 2.16% down. Remember, we said that was the leader to the downside today. Relative weakness in Meta on the Mag 7. Nvidia now red on the day as well, 1.52% red. But Tesla holding its gains above 400, 1.3% up on the day. No worries, Khalees. But yeah, low hanging fruit trades have gone. Let me just flip over to this. Maybe if it holds this, it has a chance to squeeze back up to here. But again, if it fails this, then this is the move. Again, I'm going to wait. I'm happy to wait for it to use flow zones as support and the IB. Even if it squeezes straight up without me, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to be process-based and wait for my trade. How we react around here and here is key. And we have sellers on the book. 45, 50, 60, 70, and 980. That's where the sellers on the book are. Starting to try and base above these flow zones now. Not at the IBH yet. ES driving up towards its IBH, right? So ES, a bit of a market leader here, I'd say. SPY trading back to previous day high. All right, so very, very key levels here on the SPYs and on the ES. QQQ with a little bit further to go so far. So do they reject PDH or not? Do they reject IBL or not? If we reclaim, and yes, we are open for a failed auction and a return back inside the range to the view up. Am I in a rush to trade this? No. Longs are counter trend today. Now we've confirmed they're counter trend unless we get inside the range, and then we're going to go range rotation. These moves are pretty big though. Off the lows. Crazy to think a pullback to here to this pivot can be from 80, basically 110 points, and still be in a bearish structure. It's absolutely nuts. It's starting to squeeze out here. IBH being tested now on the ES. Previous day high being tested now on the spiders. Do they start to flip these flow zones and support price action for higher prices, or do they reject the initial balance for a retest of low day? But like I said, sellers dragging this up 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. They're all looking to get filled up there. All looking to get filled. Every single one of them looking to get filled on squeezes higher. First bunch filled. 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90 now on the book. 60, around 65 lots, most of those. Right, so they came back in there, sold it. There you go. So back down. So I'd say right now, if it cannot hold 920 to 900, right, this level right here, then it's in trouble. Right, if it ducks under here, we can build liquidity and go lower. Like I said, the pivot for this was all the way up here. So in terms of a pullback, you just came into golden pocket and sold, which is why I was saying I'm not interested in the longs until we get through the initial balance low. Structure comes first. Catch you later, Tyson. So look at the ES, went and tagged its IBL to the dot and rejected it. Hope you feel better, dude. Retesting into 920, 900. If it can't hold this, good chance it searches for liquidity lower. Buyers on the book now, 890, 880. They just stepped on the book. So they're looking to get filled lower now. Cannot stop yawning. Terrible. I finished Landman last night. What a series. I think I did that in 3 days. Billy Bob Thornton. Don't know if anyone's watched it. I really, really enjoyed it. Thought it was great. One of the best series. There's been so many good TV shows recently as well. So many. I watched that new Harlem Coben one, which was good. But yeah, Landman was incredible. Yeah, exactly, Andrew H. Such a good show. So good. It's got everything. Funny, violent, great script, like really interesting storyline. Yeah, that's on my list actually. That won awards a couple years ago, didn't it? I haven't watched it yet, but it is on my list. Stick a jumper on. I'm getting a bit cold here. Yeah, Billy Bob. It's so cool. I haven't done Yellowstone either, and I see that there's like a prequel to Yellowstone, so that might be my next big binge. I've done Jackal. I've done the Jackal. I love the Jackal with Eddie. What's his name? The English actor. Can't think of his name. So it looks like possibly getting stuck here. It's what we talked about. Even if it drives up, it's a possibility of getting stuck and searching lower. If you're going to take this, make sure you are covering into these lows. You are shorting very low on the session, remember. Most of the liquidity has been taken. So you have to be careful if you are thinking about attacking this for that drive down through 900. You are going to need to be very, very aggressive with how you play this in terms of your stop and taking partials. You want to see 900 break and a wash to low day. Failure to do that, I'd be very, very, very cautious here. The flow zones do look good for you so far. But if they keep trapping shorts down here, it has potential to go and retest that IB. You watched Deadpool recently. I had to watch it in 5 parts. Yeah, I do like Deadpool. The last one was a little bit overkill for me, though. I'd say if you're looking short here, it needs to stay heavy versus 37s, really. I wouldn't want to see it reclaim that kind of level. But again, you are short near a demand area. You have to be careful if you are really content on looking for the continuation lower. You have to take partials because you are starting to build out here now. All right, so if they fail to do this, they can trade back upside. If they fail to sweep those lows. They're stacking liquidity both sides of the tape now. So sellers at 35, 50, 60, and 65. Buyers at 90 and 80. So definitely stacking both sides of the tape. Not convinced what we're going to do here as we build out. 25 minutes to lunch. Volume starting to taper off since that last sell candle. Again, all the easy moves for liquidity have gone. If you look at the QQQ, it came right into the edge of that demand. Very, very nice. Into an old low. Structure-wise, it's still saying lower. The question is, are too many shorts in the hole down here into a demand area, into point of control? Do they let it go? The Hateful 8 extended version. Okay, I'll have a look at that. What's that on? What service is that on? Netflix. All right, cool. So 900 key here if they're going to let that go. BC, I don't know what you're talking about. Failing a 5-minute EMA cloud. Yeah, the flow zone cloud. 865. 865 what? It's not traded to 865 yet. Five-minute clouds right here. Push and fail. We're in high time frame, demand, and point of control. Man, YouTube's weird. Online life be weird, man. There's 900. Watching them on the tape here. 900, remember, bids underneath at 890 and 880. They're looking to get filled as buyers. There are sellers upside as well, stacking both sides right now. The easy moves have gone. The moves to very obvious liquidity have gone. We took them on stream together. Anything for the rest of the day right now is a bonus. Right? Anything lower right now is an absolute bonus. Until you get beneath point of control and start to build out new structure like we talked about in the higher time frame, until we are able to get underneath and create structure here for a lower price. I don't love the shorts down here. Right? They are higher risk. Take them if you want, but just be proactive into these areas. If you're in this, like I said, if you want to take this, that's fine. Just be proactive. Start to take some partials. Looking good for you now. Catch you later, Aaron. Great work today. So that move to deep pullback and a sell here. Continuation lower is possible, but again, you're into higher time frame demand. I can't remember who was talking about the long zoom up bit. Khalees. So hopefully that makes you understand why we weren't looking for that failed bear flag, and we were thinking about continuation until it proves otherwise. I haven't traded with the mate, but I do have a discount code in the room. Let me have a look. Yeah, just code flow zone for take profit. I know they changed their rules this week. We'll have a look at that. No end of day drawdown now or something, isn't it? So failure to take the lows yet. Hasn't taken out that low pivot. No daily loss limit. There you go. Thank you, Miguel. You can still pay. You can still pay yourself every day once you're about above the threshold. And that's correct. Yeah, I have passed, but I haven't taken money out of it yet. So failure to break the lows will be a problem for shorts here. They need to snap the lows here for continuation. Remember, when one side gets stuck, it's because of a failed breakout. What's the threshold for a 50k? Mickey, which on which prop firm are you talking about? On take profit, I would imagine it's 2,500. Maybe someone else can answer that. I'd imagine it's $2,500 is your buffer normally for a 50k. 3,000. Okay, 3,000. So there's the break of the low. Continuation lower now. Coming back into the top of the H1 wicks will be 841, breaking the point of control now. So we're just trading lower and lower and lower. Let me just check this on an H4. Right into yesterday's session. So we can think about this in terms of fibs now. You just traded into a 61 fib, right? Yeah, kept rejecting. We've said bearish all day, mate. We've been bearish all day. No reason to be longing underneath IBL. I don't know if you just joined the stream, but even when other people were talking about the long up here, I was saying I would rather be thinking about short continuation. Structure was short versus this. We've been talking about on stream for hours now. We do not guess bottoms in this room. It's not what we do. It's the easiest way to get wrecked. How low can we go? Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, on H1, we're through point of control. Value area low now is all the way down here at 770s. We have these wicks here. Right, these were key yesterday for that breakout retest, so it may be a similar kind of area if it finds some bids down here, but it's sort of into a guessing game now. All right, so we're through the fibs. Remember, from this low here to here, we're into that golden pocket. Remember, I didn't like shorts down here, particularly in terms of value, but momentum good, location less good. That drive up was actually very good into the deep pullback flow zones. Protecting the IB, that was a good drive. Yeah, it can go as low as it wants is the answer to that. VIX starting to break out here through previous day low, starting to put on a squeeze on the VIX. Again, a break of 1937, 1950 opens the door for a move all the way up to 2050s. Those sellers starting to get a little bit frustrated that they are not joining this now. So if you look at the order book, they're starting to move down, right? So they've moved down into 2087, 100 lot there, then another one in front of 900, then just above 900, and then 500 lots stacked, just above 25 all the way up to 50. But they are starting to move down. You can see them on the book trying to walk down and get filled because they did not get filled on any push up. We never came up to the IB that they wanted. And so they're now stuck with 500 to 700 lots that they were looking to sell that they can't get into the market right now. So they will need a squeeze higher for them to get filled unless they come in suddenly market in, which I found very, very unlikely. They're just gently walking down. Yeah, just starting to attack back down towards the Bollinger. So that 5-day being very, very key today. Really, really nice move on that 5-day today. How many orders at 890? Well, they're stacked up all the way up to there. So there's 162 lot at 875. And 887, there's 104 lot. Then just above that, 100 lot. And then into 900, there's 100 lot just above it. And then there's a gap up to 925. And there's 500 lot space between 925 and 950 right now. Definitely every pop being sold into trend day underneath IBL, like we talk about, we don't look for longs on trend day lower. Right, every single pop up has been sold into today. Definitely trapped bulls at the highs into that PPI high. Even I almost got trapped up there. Did sell a partial into that move, but I was expecting the liquidity sweep before this move down. We didn't do it. So you've got to imagine a lot of bulls got trapped up there. Watching the 503s on the QQQ. And that afternoon pullback at 2:30 yesterday. So that 875, 161 lot there. No, VC. I'm using my clouds. Dude, if you're going to come on here, at least like do some of the lessons first and stuff, because you're just clogging up chat. This is my whole system. They're clearly not anyone else's. They run very, very differently. Watching that pullback low into 840s or 836.50s right now on an hourly chart. Watching this level here, pretty key. All right, breakout retest kind of level if they're going to hold for squeezes. Just can no. Unfortunately, I'm not. I was short all morning after the failure of the high through the IB. Once we took out that PPI low, I started covering my position. Probably covered a little too early. This extension looking very, very good now. So I'm not in the shorts, unfortunately. "10 minutes until lunch, team." Watching the VIX now through PDL, PDC. Again, we'll keep saying it. 1935 key on the VIX. Starts to break out of that. Then that potential squeeze through 1950s is there. Mag 7 all red other than Tesla right now. Here goes the VIX testing that now. 1927 now. 1930. Almost there. None of these sellers getting filled in this move down. They keep walking down. They're going to get frustrated at some point. There's a guy on the bid at 837, 120 lot. These sellers, they need a squeeze up for them to get filled. All right. They will be short positions. Just the way they're walking down. These are not longs trying to get filled. These are guys trying to get in the move to the short side. They're looking to get filled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 lots plus. They need a squeeze out to get filled on the tape. Again, 75 here. So now they've walked all the way down. 875, 887, 9 and 890, 900, just above 900. So that's where they're looking to get filled. Their first lot, probably 500 lots in that first move. So they need this squeeze out here towards 900 for them to get a little bit of size on. Any squeeze above that towards between 25 and 50, they'll get the rest of their size on. What I would say is if we start building liquidity up there and there's a lack of failure here, you have to be cautious if we start to base out up here, all right? Because this is when the flow zones will start protecting the move. They will need a pop and a fail is what they will need. Ty, the indicator is completely for free for any member of the community, all right? So if you do the course, the link's down below. It's a one-time fee. It's a 20-hour on-demand course. You get all my indicators for free, including the one you're looking at right now. And you get membership for life to my Discord, where I trade in the afternoon. And you have a good support network in there. Morning, Trading Wizard. So no squeeze relief, no relief for these buyers. VIX still banging on that door, right on that first pivot there. 1934. Break through this. 1950s should come fairly quickly if it can do that, which would add downside pressure to the market. Oh, sorry, Ty. Yes, I had someone code it for me. And also trying to get it fully coded into C+ or C# for Ninja at the moment. Because I execute all my trades on NinjaTrader. If I can get that working properly, then I can get the algo working properly. And then I might just quit trading and just let the algo do all the hard work. The algo today would have had a decent day from market open. Would have bought this, sold extension, sold this, sold extension, covered extension, bought this, probably break even, sold this, and added in, and it would have done much better than me. So let's get that algo working. All right, so break of structure here to downside, continuation lower. Again, no reason to be looking for longs right now. We came into good structure. It made no bullish pattern. No reason to look for longs. It will continue to drip lower until enough shorts get stuck in the hole at the low. There goes the VIX breaking out now, 1940. So VIX looking for a trade up to 1950 now. And sellers on the book, 875 and basically 890, 95s, 900s, all the way up there. They're looking for a squeeze to get filled. I cannot say this enough. Mickey. Oh man, I'm exhausted. For those who didn't know, I live in Los Angeles. The stress of the fires the last week, I'm absolutely spent. So trading back into the flow zones here again. You have an imbalance here into 880. That's where they're looking to get filled. They're looking to get filled if they can on a pop up into here to sell back down. No, I'm at home. It looks like they've got it under control. Once they had all the extra firefighters from Canada and Mexico and everyone come and help, I think they got enough of it under control at the weekends before the wind picked up. Yeah, I've been monitoring. It's been much better the last day or two, so I haven't needed a mask. First 3-4 days going outside was terrible. Just it looked like it was snowing. It was just ash everywhere. Do I use fixed size stops? I use a ATM for my stops, but it really depends on that pivot. Right, so like if I was getting short here, I'd want my stop above here or into here, and I'd be looking for at least one, ideally 2R. Oh, you're in downtown, Mickey. Yeah. So continuation lower, just keeps dripping lower. Again, no reason to be looking to long this market as it just keeps dumping down. If it wants to go and attack previous day low, it will go and attack previous day low. VIX now breaking out. What did I say? 1950 now on the VIX. If it gets through this pivot on the VIX, it can really start to get going. Market would be in big, big trouble. So the sellers still not able to get involved. They can literally watch them like start to chase it down now. Like really, really want to get involved and they can't. Nothing there for them. Coming into a new hour candle as well in 2 minutes where I'll be taking that break for lunch. We're getting fairly close to previous day low now as well, which is amazing. Never thought we were going to get there, but we're almost there. Not far away now. Oh, sorry about that. So not far away at all. Mickey, yeah, maybe. I've got to think that it needs to move higher first before it does that, only because all these guys are not getting a fill. There's so many sellers trying to get filled here, and they just can't. There's not much liquidity stacked underneath now. Everything is stacked above. You know, maybe the market makers would just be like, tough luck, guys. We're not filling you today. You missed your opportunity. Who knows? In terms of initial balance, if we had a measured move out of it, let's have a look. Probably looks like it. Just a little bit short of that full measured move so far. Again, downtrend just continues. We talked about it. So I didn't like the longs. Longs are good above here. Once flow zone support, you haven't had that. Don't pick the bottoms. It will keep selling on you. It will keep going down. The more bulls keep trying to pick the bottoms, the lower that this is going to go. Yeah, very, very possible, Ty. Also very possible that if they think CPI is going to be okay, that they're just dumping it down to accumulate positions at cheaper prices. I mean, there's so many different ways to read that, right? So it's aggressive selling though. Oh my god, sorry guys, I'm so tired. I'm breaking out now. 1959 now on the VIX. All right, so it continues to drive high all the time. The VIX is like this. We're going to go risk off. Remember, a nice bull market, the VIX will be in the low teens. Back to these H1 levels. So if we start failing here, we can think about value area low yesterday of like 770. If we start failing that, then oof, previous day low probably. What a move. Pump to dump this morning for sure. Big PPI pump to dump. Are people still buying Apex? I believe so. What's the latest there? Maybe you can fill me in, Mickey. Sure, there's some gossip there. I try not to get involved in any of that stuff, but saw the emails about the court case, and they're saying they're going to defend themselves. Yeah, lots of people still getting payouts. I don't know. It's just there's always an agenda, normally from someone slagging one off. Oh, that's just the percentage of buy and sell volume in that candle that's printing that in that minute. All right, so per 1 minute candle. That's all that is. Don't worry about it too much. I honestly don't look at it at all. I look at the volume, but I don't look at that. No way, really. Well, I was part of that denial, as was another guy, Ryan, in my room. So that's pretty that's pretty sad to hear. That was the one from last year, I'm assuming you're talking about. Will NT allow automated trading? Yes, NinjaTrader has automated trading. Wow, Mickey. That is big news in fairness. That is big news in fairness. So VIX continuing to trade higher, 961 now. No structural reason to buy this. Trend day underneath IBL. Trend day. No reason to be buying this. That is really big news. They're not going to pay out everyone, though, are they? That they unjustly did that to, then, I guess. Can I go and ask for my 30k that they never paid? That'd be nice. So back to flow zones here. Remember, those sellers are still on the tape. They are walking down. These sellers now trying to get filled at 855, right? 100 lot, 855, 60, 65, 70, 75, 880. That's where they're looking to get filled, so that you are aware. Really? Okay. Oh, man, the fast chat trading thing was a joke. That guy's a moron. Not quite the same. I don't think you can put Apex in the same bracket as that. But that is unfortunate that that they did actually rig that. What was the word you said? Need to rig the big. Yeah. Aaron, you can make as much you can make as much as you want. You just need to be consistent with 20%, right? So like if you were going to do that in as quick as possible, 6k 10% would be 600, so 20% would be 1200. You can make more than that. You just need to trade for more days, that would mean. So 20% would be in 5 days. That would be the quickest. If you're going to do 5 days, that'd be the quickest. You can make more than that. You just need to trade more days. So here's the squeeze up. They are looking to get filled up here, remember. They are starting to get filled around 55s and above. All right, we said it. That's where they're looking to get filled. 55s and above is where they're looking to get filled. Up to 80. If they start pulling it, it would be fun. It would just rip higher, and that would be really fun to watch. And let's see. That's a decent amount of volume come in that candle. We're well into lunch now as well. I should probably think about going here. Tradeify is very good. I really highly recommend people trade with Tradeify. They pay out very quick, very simple rules. You can DCA if you want. You can use micros. You can use minis. Like Brett is very available. The back end is really good. The trading journal is really good. They are by far the best prop firm out there. It's not even close. You just need to be consistent. Okay, so remember what we said. They're selling 55 all the way up to 880. 55 all the way up to 880. That's where they are. Potential start of this kind of move here for the run back up if they don't sell back down versus these 880s. Mickey, Tradeify expensive. Well, they're on sale all the time. The direct to funding is expensive. I mean, I would only advise doing that if you know you get payouts and you're consistent. But I don't think the other ones are expensive. They're always on sale, and their rules are way easier. And some of them don't have activation fees. You have to remember as well, so you have to consider that. Yeah, code FCT will get you anywhere from, I think, like 60%, 30 to 60% off. Here's that move. Here's 55s. Remember, they're trying to get that squeeze up to get filled for the sells. They're trying to get filled for the sells. So tap through 55. Did we make it to the next level? No. So 60 still on the tape, 65 still on the tape, 70 still on the tape. Yeah, exactly. The growth deal's probably the best one if you're going to do an eval. End of day drawdown, not intraday drawdown, and no activation fees. Lots of people miss that out. They don't understand there's no activation fee on that. So it works out probably just as cheap and a little bit easier. But anyway, I've way overstayed my welcome here. Didn't even realize. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you had a good day. Chances of this squeezing back upside now are starting to look a little bit better, aren't they? Looks like they're going to fill all these sellers who are here, and then it has the opportunity to really go and grab that liquidity higher, which would be fun if it starts to squeeze out here. That would be quite a fun play for the afternoon. But I am done on the day. Locked in some okay money, not bad. One, two, three, four, 5 accounts all up nicely. Those in the Discord, I will see you there in the afternoon. We'll see what sets up after lunch, if we're going to get a initial balance kind of rotation, or if we're going to go back down for that previous day low once all these sellers get filled. Everyone else who joined me, thanks for joining. Remember, I'm here Monday to Friday. All right, we've got a very high success rate on this stream. So if you like how I trade, I will see you tomorrow morning before the market open. Those of you who like how I trade and want to learn more, you can do the course. Course is down below, flowzonetrader.com. $649, a one-time fee for that course. You get the indicators and you get Discord thrown in. And yeah, use hard stops. Be careful, all right? The ATR in this market per 1 minute is massive. So just be careful with your sizing. Peace and love. I'll see you real soon.